As we said in our opening monologue, corrupt deep state actors may have trouble sleeping tonight after these reports. Anti-Trump dossier author Christopher Steele sat down for 15 hours worth of interviews with the DOJ's Inspector General. Here to react to all the breaking news tonight and more, President Trump's attorney, Rudy Giuliani, is with us. Mr. Mayor, so all this news, he gives 15 hours of testimony. Now, finally, others decided last minute that they want to talk to Horowitz. And then we learn about General Flynn. You're a prosecutor. I don't like this practice. You got to get out of jail free card if you just say what we tell you to say.
That's a Weissman special, which Mueller tolerated. And, you know, Mueller should never have been appointed, whatever he was, independent counsel or serious
Special counsel
or
right.
a sleep counsel. He did the same thing in the Whitey Bulger case. I mean, a federal judge named Nancy Gertner, a classmate of the Clintons, said that his handling of that whole thing was a serious problem for the FBI. And it was chilling in the way he covered up for a couple of FBI rats who actually did the murders. And people spent 40 years in prison for murders that they didn't commit. Other people had committed them, and the FBI knew all along. And I'm kind of like not making this up. The U.S. attorney in Connecticut knows this case better than I did. He uncovered it. So, I mean, Mueller's the guy who has tolerated this kind of incompetent, unethical, over-the-top behavior in defense of the institution. I don't know what his makeup is, but, you know, I didn't really focus on all this until I got involved in this case, and then I was shocked.
Mayor,
I was shocked at the way they handled this case. I mean, they're totally out of control.
You can't offer a get-out-of-jail-free card and then feed people what you want them to say.
No, and you can't put a man like Manafort in solitary confinement for 7 months and bring him in 13 times like Weissman did, tell him what to say, and when he tells you it's not true, send him back to solitary confinement and bring him out in 4 more days, unless you're trying to suborn perjury. Or you don't give a damn if you're suborning perjury. And you can't do what he did to Corsi. I got the documents on that. They got caught red-handed in that. And
what about
that one we had to go to the Justice Department and get them slapped across the face for being a bunch of unethical, disgraceful prosecutors, which is what they are. And all this lionizing of Mueller is disgraceful, and that's what you're going to find out. These guys are the guys that need to be investigated.
Well, we've been investigating the investigators. We're learning an awful lot that I don't like. Look, I want truth and justice, but you can't say sing or compose or we're going to put you in jail. Say what we want or we'll put you in jail.
Only if you have the liberal media, which makes you into some kind of a king for doing that and a prince, when in fact this is the scourge of people who are civil libertarians, prosecutors like this. That's why you got a guy like Alan Dershowitz in shock that these people are being lionized like this.
How does Mueller justify FARA investigations? You and I both know that that's usually fill out the form, fine, see you later, or loan applications or taxi medallions, all of which and taxes from, you know, a decade gone by, and ignore Steele's dirty dossier that the other candidate paid for with Russian lies that was used to spy on a campaign.
He was a hitman. He didn't care for the. He wouldn't have hired Weissman if he cared about the truth, would he? He wouldn't have hired Jeannie Ray, the counsel to Clinton's the Clinton Foundation.
We're going to put you in jail, and
charity.
I'll be right next to you because these people don't have
ethics. I wouldn't hire people like that. They wouldn't see the inside of my U.S. Attorney's office. I'd have kicked them out. I mean, when he did that, I said to myself, "What the heck is wrong with him?" Well, then I figured out what's wrong with him. He's basically asleep. And the reality is that this was a plot from the very beginning to frame Trump. That's what you're going to find out. It's rather complex. It has a whole counterintelligence spin to it. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And why is this the first time somebody sat down with Steele for 15 hours? Comey never did it. It was unverified. Hey, you're the director of the FBI. You're supposed to verify, jerk. You're supposed to verify. Don't tell me you can't verify. Man, I'd have thrown him out of the office if I were the Attorney General. You come to me as the president and you tell me the thing is unverified and you've had it for 4 months and you haven't bothered to verify it and find out it's a bunch of crap?
He signed off in October 2016.
He had 4 months to verify it, Sean.
And 4 months later, he said it's unverified.
He should have been embarrassed walking into the president of the United States or the president-elect of the United States and saying it's unverified. Unverified, you had 4 months to verify it, and you run the most competent, effective, law enforcement agency in the world, or at least you claim you do, and you ruined it, pal, because they're all ashamed of you. And they should be ashamed of Mueller. You look back on Mueller's record now with an eye at what he was doing, and you look at that whole Whitey Bulger thing, and you say, wow, this was predictable.
What do you predict on Wednesday? Because I think when Jim Jordan and Doug Collins and Matt Gaetz and a few others asked these questions, how did you investigate these things, but not the dirty dossier from Russia that was used to really influence the election and used to spy on the opposition party?
How'd you do the investigation in the first place when your lead agent, Peter Strzok, had done the original investigation and concluded there was no evidence of collusion? And he texted to his girlfriend, there's no there. He didn't tell you there's no there. He told his girlfriend, but not you. Why? Because you don't show up at the office? Because you're behind an iron curtain? I saw the guy one time in a year and a half. I heard him speak for an hour and a half one time. I called him the Wizard of Oz because he was behind the curtain and would be, we're going to take it to Bob. We're going to take it to Bob. Wow. Bob is in charge, pal. When I was the U.S. attorney, I was in charge. I was in charge of the commission case. I was in charge of the case against Boesky. I was in charge, not a bunch of assistants. Sure, they helped a lot, but I was the guy on the line, and I wasn't behind some iron curtain or some curtain like it. Well, he's going to be out of the curtain, and we're going to find out answers, and let's see if Bob can answer them.
I think he's going to have a tough time Wednesday. It's not going to go the way the media thinks. Mr. Mayor, good to see you.
I doubt it, and it'd be very interesting to see if he does another stumbling and bumbling like he did for his 9 minutes.
Well, Attorney General Barr, it's my theory, bailed him out with that joint statement. We'll see. Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Bill's a good guy and a great Attorney General, so I'm not going to criticize Bill. He's doing a great job.
I'm not criticizing him. I'm just saying I sensed he did, but tried to throw him a lifeline.
Maybe he gave him a lifeline,
Yeah.
All right. He didn't take it.
Guess not. All right. Mayor Rudy Giuliani, just tell us how you really think. We always want to know.